Okay, so this is going to be the second installment in this hopefully short series of tutorials on InDesign. What we're going to focus on right now is typography. InDesign is primarily a layout program, and its sort of chief powers lie in its ability to handle a lot of text, format a lot of text very precisely, and handle images in much the same manner. Why don't we start off by focusing on typography? As you can see in our sample newspaper page, we've got a lot of different sizes and shapes and typefaces for our typography, and that's all reasonably easy to achieve. Um, One of the first things that you need to be familiar with in InDesign is that just about everything goes in a frame of one sort or another. Primarily, type and images use frames. Looking in your toolbar, you have a couple of different tools for that. This would be your frame tool, and this would be your type tool. It's a little misleading or a little counterintuitive, but you can create type frames or text frames with the type tool. So the way that you would do that is just select your type tool and then come over to your template. I don't know why that didn't take. Here we go. Come over to your template, and what you're going to do is click and drag into an area and begin typing. So if we're going to recreate this headline, we would just start typing here. Okay, so what you're seeing here is this little grayed out bar, and what that is a preview. See, now it showed up. At a certain small type size, type will often gray out to save memory and improve the performance of the application. So don't worry about that. You just probably need to zoom in a little bit. But how do we get this typography to look like this typography? Well, first of all, just like any other program, we would have to select it. And then if we go over to our properties panel, you can see all of these different settings over here for character, the typeface name, the weight, the size, the leading, paragraph justification and alignment, so on and so forth. One of the really powerful things about InDesign and Illustrator too, is its ability to work with styles on a template. So we have, for typography, we have both character styles and paragraph styles. And the template that we're going to be using should have both of those set up for you, right? So if I click on character styles, let's see what happens. This opens up this window here. And if we pull down, we should see styles that have been set up in this template for us to use, right? That means that we don't have to sort of start from scratch every time we want to create something. So if we pull down here, it looks like this might be headline 1 that we want to have for our character style. And it's starting to look more similar. But one thing you might notice is that while the typeface and size looks the same, the indentation and alignment is different. And that's because that's handled in the paragraph styles and not in the character styles. So again, with the type selected, we can go into paragraph styles and pull down here. And look, there's also a paragraph style for headline 1. So now, if we click on that, we're going to see that this is looking more and more similar. Paragraph styles will handle alignment and indentation and things like that, whereas character styles will handle the typeface and weight and size and leading, so on and so forth. So now we're getting really close to having this piece of type in place. By changing the size of the type frame, it doesn't stretch your type, which is nice. And there's a quick little feature here. If you've got a big text frame and only a small piece of text, you can actually double click down here at the bottom, and that will snap that to its minimum size, right? And so then we can just move that roughly into position on our template, and there's plenty of time to work with that in greater detail later. So, so that's one piece of type out of the way. Now we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 other major chunks of type to deal with. We can put a placeholder frame in position for our photograph. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. And then here, what we're going to do is create another text frame for our photo credit and cut line. And if I zoom in here, remember zooming in and out is the same as in Illustrator. And my preferred method is the command spacebar, or maybe it's the spacebar command. And you can see that what we're trying to reproduce here is just a low-res screen grab. So we're just going to make something up here for our photo credit and cut line. So I'm going to zoom back out and come over here and come up with a imaginary publication name, the news dash paper. Okay, and I'm gonna follow that with a vertical slash, and then my name, as though I were the photographer. I wasn't, obviously, in this case. And then I'd like to show you another little feature here that's really powerful with InDesign. Sometimes, in fact, a lot of the time when we're laying out pages, we don't even have the stories yet to work with. So a designer might be tasked with putting together a page before there's content. And the way that we can do that is by filling, working with placeholder text. So if you have a text frame already created, you can just right click in there, and somewhere down here there's going to be an option to fill with placeholder text. All right, so and that's just Greeking or Latin, as they call it, or lorem ipsum, or whatever. But it's generated automatically, and it makes things kind of handy, right? So what we can do up here is select, again, the type that we want to change, and go to our character styles, and go to, in this instance, photo credit. And then we're going to go to paragraph styles and also apply photo credit. And then for our placeholder text down here, we're going to do the same thing, except go with photo cut line. All right, so photo cut line in both paragraph and character styles. There we go. All right, and so you can see that this is actually not that difficult. And it's not supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be an efficient, a fast and efficient way for you to work. To make this look more like this one, I'm going to just sort of imaginarily edit this down to a 2-line cut line and just sort of add in a period. And remember, if we click on this bottom control point here, or double click on it, that'll tighten up our type frame or text frame to its the minimum space required to fit the text. Okay, so we're already more than halfway through here for this one. So the next thing we're going to do is put together this piece of type. This is a little more complicated, so I'm actually going to save that for another tutorial. So stay tuned.